Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Josh and Reece podcast. It is the Premier League predictions. I've also just realised I've still got the old thumbnail in the background. But yes, it's week 7, not week 6. I want to change that right now. As you can tell, I'm not exactly as prepared as normal. But, it's a first. Who generally likes first? It's near the end of the week, but it's not quite near the end of the week. So, please excuse. But anyway, Reece is currently playing FIFA 22. So he's multitasking the amazing man that... Yeah, so Reece, how's FIFA going? How are you feeling?
FIFA's good because I'm good at it, and yeah, I'm good. I'm on a high for multiple reasons, obviously, but yeah, all good. How about you?
I've seen Reece's streams. He's not actually that good at FIFA, guys.
He's talking shit.
Just put out there. Anyway,
He's talking shit.
Yeah, so I'm doing very, very well. Obviously, this is the last set of Premier League games until Premier League until the international break, which is really
October 4th.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is Looking Live. Excited. Well, thank you very much. Hello to you. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Obviously, in very good spirits after beating Unai Emery's side last night and Shane O'Donnell. Hello. How you doing? So let's get started. Into these predictions. All right. So let's start off conveniently enough. The first game that is on Saturday is Old Trafford as Manchester United taking on Everton. Yeah, this is an interesting tie. Everton probably having a very, very good season.
They are, yeah.
Manchester United, people obviously hate the word, but it is a bit inconsistent. Maybe a bit fortunate to win last night, but when you got Ronaldo in your team, anything is possible with Ronaldo in your team. Ronaldo with a Fred Cross, which I don't think we ever thought we'd ever say in our lives. But with Jesse Lingard assist winner for Manchester United. But Manchester United in that first half were absolutely woeful. David De Gea maybe showing his pride, maybe showing he's still got a bit to him. But I generally think that Manchester United. I definitely think Manchester are going to struggle against Everton. I think Everton are a really, really well organised team. I think the big issue is they're missing Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, so but Damari Gray, Andres Townsend, and it's good for Decore is playing quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I do fancy them to go to Old Trafford and actually get a draw, but I think Everton are going to park the bus hard. Rafa Benitez is no one defence first and counter-attack. He'll play like that, and United will struggle to break them down. And I feel like they have slightly better quality in the counter-attack compared to what Fury have. So it's going to be a 1-1 between United and I think I am going to use I'm going to use my goal scoring very early. I've got Ronaldo scoring for Manchester United and Damari Gray scoring for Everton.
Very, very fair, very understanding. I agree. We weren't great in the first half. We were not organised. We were all over the place. It was not coherent. But I still think we were a more dominant team. Just Villarreal, when they were playing their game, it was quick couple of passes and they're in danger areas and they scored from that area. So I think that's what it came down to. They weren't particularly dominant in areas they should have been, but in terms of picking up space and making use of it, they did. I'll give them that. But I still think the quality showed on the night for us. Like, we had the quality to get things done, and that really is crucial for me. So I think we will edge Everton, even though Everton are slightly similar to Villarreal. They do have more quality, I agree, but the thing is they're missing 2 key players, and that's what it'll come down to. So I'm going Man United to win 2-1.
2-1. A lot of people are saying 2-1. I know Shane O'Donnell said 2-1, so it was Reece Woods. And both my friends and our pre-predictions things both said 2-1. So I'm the only one who's going with the points being shared, which is unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
So moving on to a game that I'm going to be perfectly honest. I am absolutely not. I'm not really excited to see this game. I don't know if I'll even bother with a match today. It's Burnley taking on Norwich at Turf Moor, which I don't really know what to make of this game. But I just don't like this Norwich team at all. I think it's one of these cases that any team that comes up against Norwich, they're going to get a win, and they're going to score at least 2 goals. Burnley 2-0. They'll do the job, but it's going to be if anybody's not doing anything during the day, definitely do not watch this game. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Burnley take on Norwich. 2-0 Burnley, probably 2 goals from like Chris Wood or something like that will probably do the job for them. But yeah, it's not going to be really a game that I'm going to be thrilling about anyway.
Yeah, I generally can't be fucked about this game, so I'm just going to go 4-0. 4-0 Burnley.
I don't think Burnley could score 4 goals against a really bad team. So we've got 2-0 2-0 Burnley, 1-0 Burnley, 2-0 Burnley. Fucking hell, Josh and Reece, which lightning. Hello, Connor. Thank you very much for coming in. Reece McMahon. Oh dear. You two obviously are a very interesting duo when it comes to the Red Show and the Blue Podcast. Just a wee shout out for the Blue Podcast because that's what we do. So next, Chelsea taking on Southampton. Yeah, Chelsea were awful, really. Burnley from Connor. Yeah, Chelsea were awful yesterday. Again, a very lackluster performance going forward. Yes, they defended well, but going forward, one shot on target over these last over 188 minutes of football, it's been a terrible, terrible, terrible 2 games for Chelsea. Chelsea are not scoring many goals, are struggling to create chances. They're not really going forward. I don't think Tuchel's got the lineup right, and in 2 different occasions. And Southampton are having a good season, and their record against the so-called better teams at the moment is really, really good. They went away to the Etihad and had limited City to 1 shot on target, 0 each. Considering Chelsea's attacking issues, yeah, it's a recipe for the side. But I can't see Chelsea losing 3 games on the bounce, especially under Thomas Tuchel. The squad's too good, Tuchel's too good. We face blimps, but I feel like Southampton are going to come and give us a hell of a game. I think we're going to need men to make a few saves. I think it's literally going to be a very narrow 1-0 win with like Lukaku or Havertz getting the winner.
I agree and disagree. I think you weren't particularly scoring because you're just not getting the chances made for you. The midfield against Man City was completely wrong. Tuchel's shown why I don't rate him as a world-class manager. I just rate him as a good manager. But that was a one-off. Like, he really needs to work on that. And obviously, you had 80% possession against Juventus and still couldn't score. It was embarrassing. But I think it'll change. Everyone knows I like Southampton for the way they play football, but I think quality will prevail. I think Chelsea will win this 2-0.
2-0. I'd honestly take that. I would generally take this game all day long. Yeah, so Connor's gone 2-1 Southampton. He's gone for the shock. If that actually happened, Chelsea meltdown would be full on. There's already some people calling for Tuchel out in the group chat that I'm in yesterday, which, yeah, it's just some people who are in the fan base. 2-1 Chelsea free. Shane, honestly, mate, if it's 3-0, I would generally buy you an ice cream. Like, if we somehow do score 3 after our last 2 performances against Southampton, I would be over the moon. And 2-1 Chelsea. Hopefully, everyone scores predictions is at least right. I would like Shane's the most, but I don't know. I'm not too hopeful. Anyway, moving on to Leeds and Watford at Ellen Road. Leeds still without a win. Watford not doing too well, but surely they pick up their win this week. I like this Watford team. They do got some good players around the pitch. Good to see Ben Foster still doing it in the goal. They've got some decent attacking players, Sarr, Joshua King. They're not bad players at all. But Leeds at Ellen Road, surely at home to Watford. Like, Watford aren't someone who's going to crave. Who are going to crave Watford. They're going to crave Leeds open a lot. I just can't see Leeds not winning the 6. They have to get their first point some way, and I feel like they're going to against. I feel like they're going to against Leeds.
Yeah, I agree. I think you will see Leeds do the business. I think they will carve Watford open. It's just how they progress with the ball. They've not been sharp with their passing in any of their last 6 games that I've watched. Even the cup game, they just weren't sharp. They're just really weak, bullish. I'll be surprised if you see Leeds kick on. Highly unlikely, but I think with the quality they do have, they should be winning this game. So I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds, but equally so, both teams are crap.
I do have to ask this. So we're on week 7 now. Right? Say we get to week 10, for example, right, and they still haven't won a game yet. Do you think there's any chance Leeds contemplate sacking Marcelo Bielsa, or do you think it's going to take a hell of a stretch for him to be sacked?
I think they would only sack him if it was more than 10 and nothing changed. But it's not all down to Bielsa. He's coaching them. They're just clearly not doing the job asked of them. I think if they sack him, it'd be quite stupid, really.
We have some interesting predictions. Helly 1-8 Leeds and Watford. 2-1 Watford at Vicarage Road. That's interesting. 3-1 Watford. Oh my god. I think Connor just. Okay. I think Connor really just hates Leeds. I can't say Watford scored. Watford would score 3 goals this season. Never mind. I should have scored 3 against Aston Villa. I think they did in the first week, but I don't think they'll score 3 pretty much any other time. 1-1. So no one's predicting these two other than me. I'm either going to be top of this table like
I
tomorrow.
had Leeds 2-1.
So yeah, 2-1. Sorry, my mum was calling me, so I didn't hear you. Well, either me and you are going to look like absolute geniuses or absolute idiots. Hello, Ankit. Hope you're doing very well. I know it's a tough time for Chelsea at the moment after the last 2 performances, but hopefully we'll pull back against Southampton. Everyone's predicted Southampton to lose this game, so hopefully everyone's right. Wolves and Newcastle. Got another person. Hello. So we hope you're doing very, very well. Again, that's the same as I've just been saying to Ankit there. It's been a difficult time for Chelsea. I think the last 2 performances have been very, very, very bad. But as I said, we've all predicted the Southampton win. Some people have even said 3-0 Southampton, which I would absolutely take in an absolute heartbeat because the last 2 performances have not only been eye-wrenchingly bad, but have also pretty much ruined my day. So, come on. So let's move on. Wolves and Newcastle. Again, this is another game that I'm absolutely not particularly excited for. It's between 2 teams that can't really score goals and are a bit all over the place. I don't really actually have much to say about this game. Like Newcastle just always seem to scrape a point no matter how bad they are, and Wolves. It's good to see Real Heatman score, but Wolves are look like they're going to be finishing bottom half. I don't think they'll get relegated or be close to it, but they definitely look like nowhere near a team that they were in the first couple of years under in the Premier League. So 1-1, nothing much to add to. It's a game that I'm absolutely not going to be keeping my eye on that much.
Yeah, I agree. Both sides don't play good football. Both sides have only good one player each. Raul Jimenez or Neto, realistically, Neves for Wolves. All Newcastle have got is Saint Maximin and 10 morons. And I say that nicely, Saint Maximin and 10 morons, because that's all that Newcastle are, a bunch of morons. And it just shows because they've got an owner who's a dickhead and they've got a manager who can't understand coaching.
So
I would go on the ground. I think Wolves will still win this game. I think they've got far better quality and they're a far better team to watch than Newcastle. And the fact the amount of shots they've had already, even though they haven't scored a lot of goals, they've had much more shots than Newcastle have, and they've been more aggressive with the ball. I think you will see something there. So I'm going to go Wolves narrow 1-0 win.
Just to update everyone, since we are live on the Europe League scores, Sparta Prague have taken the lead against Rangers.
Yeah, I've just seen.
And a big result, Lazio also have taken the lead against Leicester City.
Yes.
Leicester are currently losing away from home. So time to follow predictions for this game. So Helly has predicted 2-1 Wolves. A big result for Wolves too, and a 1-1 draw. So he's in agreement with myself in a 1-1 draw. It's a game that I don't think many people are going to be keeping their eyes on. Anyway, on to the Amex Stadium. Brighton taking on the Arsenal. Arsenal. With 3 wins on the bounce. Michael Arteta won manager of the month, which is I don't really know what to say about that, but it's probably more for the North London derby win rather than the faculty bet Burnley and some other team. And Connor has predicted a 1-0 Newcastle win, which would be a big result for Newcastle, but really, really bad for Wolves. Right, Brighton are playing really, really well. Obviously, they got, I think, a last-minute equaliser against Crystal Palace to draw in that game, which is a really good. I think it was a really good result for them in the end. Arsenal, Arsenal, okay, fair enough. They're playing really well. I think they came up against a really bad Spurs team. I think it was more the fact Spurs were that bad rather than Arsenal were that good. But I'm going to actually go for a major upset here. I actually going to say Brighton are going to win this game 2-0. I think Arsenal are inconsistent. I think they've came up against bad teams, and I feel like Brighton at home with the form down, with the way they're playing, it's going to be a really difficult task. And we're due an Arsenal meltdown already. It's been too long without one. I need some Arsenal fan TV meltdowns to fill my Saturday night up. This is obviously a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, so it'll be on Sky Sports. So yeah, Brighton. I think Brighton are going to win this game 2-0. And I feel like they're going to keep a clean sheet, and they're going to score 2 goals in the second half and rip Arsenal to shreds.
I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I think you're right. Arsenal are inconsistent, but at the minute they're still attacking teams really well. They are playing very quick flow movement with the ball and without the ball. I think you'll see them get some chances. It's just whether they can take them. Brighton are the exact same, and for that, I think both sides are better than each other in certain things. I think Brighton are a better defensive team than Arsenal. I think they're far better defensively. But Arsenal are at times, so far in the past couple of games, they've attacked teams better than Brighton. So I think it'll be 50-50. So I'm going 2-2 draw.
Actually, go. To be fair, could be. Connor has 2-0 Brighton. She'll done 2-1 to the Arsenal. Hallie's in agreement with you 2 each, and so he says 3-1 Brighton. I would absolutely love that. I would definitely have my popcorn ready for the Saturday night meltdown on Arsenal Fan TV. Moving on to the Sunday games. There's 4 games on Sunday this weekend, which is a bit nuts. So first of all, we've got Crystal Palace and Leicester. Palace are definitely improving week beyond week. They're definitely looking like they're getting better under Patrick Vieira. Like some players starting to adjust to the system, adjust to the Premier League. They definitely look like they're a bit of a tough team to beat. Though they're really lacking. I think I seen some stuff that Jordan I hasn't scored in 36 games or something. I couldn't believe myself. Like
I think it's the worst record.
A striker not scoring in 36 games. Like I've seen some bad strikers at Chelsea. Recent time out for Morata, Higuain. Timo Werner's missed quite a few sitters, but I did not. 36 games is unbelievable. But Leicester aren't looking much better. Let's be realistic. Arsenal are not looking particularly much better. Leicester are not looking much better. They're currently losing. I think it's to a Polish team with them. Yeah,
Legia Warsaw.
At the moment, yeah, Leicester are struggling big time. They're not defending particularly well, and they're not really creating too many chances. A lot of their kind of standout players haven't particularly showed up. James Maddison is turning into a bit of a Dele Alli at the moment. Maybe we wouldn't go that far, but I think he can kind of try and guess what I'm trying to say. I think Palace at Selhurst Park are going to hold them to a draw. I just don't see where Leicester are particularly going to have much choice in this game. But Palace are definitely, are still improving. I don't think they have enough to win the game, but I think they'll get a point. So it's a 1-1 draw.
Very, very interesting choice, my friend. Very interesting choice. I think Leicester are are becoming more overrated now than before. I think everyone was saying, they're such a good team. This season, they've been woeful. I have not been impressed by Leicester once this season. They haven't shown why they are a team that's finished in the top 6 the past 2 years on the bounce. I'll be surprised if they finish in the top 6 or even the top 7, because they've just not convinced me at all yet. I think the signings they've made are good signings, but they've just not gelled. They don't work. So they're going to have to figure something out. Rodgers has got a big ask. I actually think Palace right now under Patrick Vieira are playing some very good football. Edward has been a fantastic signing for them. Conor Gallagher on loan. He's been excellent. And I'm actually going to go for a home win. I'm actually going Crystal Palace 3, Leicester City 2.
Oh, that's some game. I love the show about Conor Gallagher. I think he's a brilliant player, and he does fit that Crystal Palace team very well. He did very well under for West Brom last year, but he was in a really, really, really bad team. When you're a team that involved Big Sam, which they were never ever going to end well.
Yeah.
So moving on to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or White Hart Lane, or whatever they bloody call these days. Spurs taking on Aston Villa. actually, just for 2-1 prediction. So 2-1 Palace, 2-1 Leicester, 2-2, 1-1. Reece, that was my first thought as well, but changed my mind last second. So, moving on to, as I said, Spurs and Villa. Spurs are struggling, man. 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. It's a bit painful. A lot of criticism has been coming Nuno's way. A lot of criticism has been coming Harry Kane's way. Obviously, Spurs do play in the European Conference League. They play some team I've never even heard of. I'm not even going to try and pronounce their name. If they don't win that game, then you do seriously start getting worried. But they should win that game. Before I ask you for your score prediction, I'm going to ask you for a quick lineup prediction. Do you really think Harry Kane should start this game?
Absolutely not. In my opinion, Harry Kane should be dropped from the starting 11 and the bench. Harry Kane should be in the reserves, in my opinion.
I don't think Daniel Levy's done himself or Harry Kane any favours, I'll say, by keeping him. They should have just took the money because Harry Kane doesn't want to be there. And like Spurs aren't going to get that much money for him now. It's just like both teams lose out here, don't they? They don't really no one really wins this.
The funny thing is, right, and I'm going to stand by this, Harry Kane is a fucking idiot. Like, he actually thinks a gentleman's agreement gets him away from Spurs. He didn't get a release clause in his contract. He's a fucking clown. If he had got a release clause, he would have been able to walk. He would have been able to go. He chose to sign a 6-year contract with no release clause. Just a gentleman's agreement. As far as I'm concerned, Harry Kane, you're a muppet, mate, and you deserve to suffer the way you are. And you don't deserve to be in your national team squad either. Just saying, you don't deserve it, mate. You suck. Everyone calls you world class. I don't think you're world class. I just think you're a good striker.
Sorry, my mum was once again calling me. She obviously doesn't know. She chose the wrong time to call me twice. Anyway, in terms of my prediction, Aston Villa have been playing really, really well. Don't get me wrong; like they've been playing incredibly well. But Spurs, for me, do still have a decent enough team, and I feel like Aston Villa defensively are a bit suspect. No, United never really challenged them defensively, but Chelsea did get in a few times. I do feel there's a side to Aston Villa where defensively they're still a bit open, but I don't have Spurs win this game 2-2. Yeah, it's a bit out there. It's a bit it's a bit of an out there score. If anything missed to win this game, it's going to be Aston Villa for me, but it's going to be 2-2. It's going to be an exciting game. Both times Spurs and Aston Villa played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's actually been a really, really good game. I don't expect it to be any different on Sunday. What's your score prediction?
If Harry Kane starts, then Villa wins. If Harry Kane starts, then Aston Villa will win this game. If Harry Kane doesn't start, then Tottenham will get a draw. I think Villa, I said at the start of the season, they would be a better team without Jack Grealish. And so far, I've been spot on. They've been, in terms of creating play, it's been all across the board. It's been cohesive. Yes, United didn't do anything, to be honest. We had the most shots in that game, but we didn't look like we were going to do anything, whereas Villa did. And I think Tottenham, to be honest, their quality in their squad, it's only a couple of players, but they need to change their system if they want to get something. They don't suit 4-3-3, they should play 3-4-3. But Villa, they've just been... They've worked really hard lately and they deserve the result, so I'm going to go Villa 2-1, same as Shane O'Donnell.
Shane's got 2-0 Aston Villa. I would be very 3-0 Villa. Jesus Christ. 2-1 Villa. We're going Spurs. Spurs lose 2-0. Obviously, as a very big Chelsea fan, obviously, so he refuses to spell Spurs' actual name, which I massively respect. And why did they even insist on keeping Kane's behaving like a spoiled child, dump him?
It's because there's no release clause in his contract, and nobody was willing to pay the money Spurs wanted. So if anything, I think they did the right thing. It's his own fault.
I'm just saying now,
it means nothing in football.
130 million for Harry Kane. You could get Haaland for 10 million cheaper. That's all I'm going to pretty much say on that.
You can get Haaland for 70 million next summer.
I could see Harry Kane leaving in January, but that's a whole different discussion, which we will discuss on the just obviously quick in there. The Josh and Reece podcast will be live on this channel on Monday night, 7 p.m. Obviously. And normally would be the World of Fun podcast, but for certain reasons, Doug will not be doing the podcast for 2 weeks. So the World of Fun podcast will be over on this channel under the Josh and Reece podcast, like it was during the off season. So Nathan's going to be here, George Kyle will be here, and I'm going to be working on a couple of guests. So we'll be talking about more intel about that stuff on Monday night. So moving on to our second to last game, West Ham taking on Brentford at the London Stadium. Obviously, West Ham are playing in Europe tonight as well. This is a really difficult one to call because West Ham are in really good bloody form, but so are Brentford. But I'm going to give the advantage to West Ham now. Thinking about this, maybe it's going to be maybe a bit tighter than this because Brentford do score goals and West Ham are going to be playing Europe tonight, so the fatigue is going to start catching up to them quite soon. But they are playing in London. They are playing at the London Stadium tonight, so there is no traveling, and I could see a couple of changes being made because they aren't playing too much of a difficult team. I think Brentford are going to suffer the loss on the road here. I think a lot of their wins are going to come. I think a lot of our wins are going to come at home this season, and they'll pull off a couple of a bit of surprise results like they did at Molineux a couple of weeks ago. But I think West Ham's too good at the moment. I think Antonio is probably going to score 2 goals against Brentford. It's going to be a 2-0 win for West Ham. Defensively they're looking very good. And Brentford can't keep up what they're doing weekend beyond weekend, so they will suffer a couple of defeats, which is fine because they're by far living expectations that I had anyway. Because I had the bottom of the league.
I know you're such a muppet for predicting that. You're such a muppet. You're right. Both teams are in form, and it's going to be hard to call. And Brentford will get defeats here and there, but I don't think they'll lose this game, and I don't think West Ham will either. I'm actually going to go for a 2-2 draw between both sides. I think you've seen it last week. Brentford should have beat Liverpool. They schooled them. Liverpool, in my opinion, were lucky to get a point. Brentford should have went home with all 3, but that just says how good they really are and how they've adapted to the league really well. I think because of that, I'm like, doesn't matter who you are, Brentford will come for you. They will attack you, and if they need to defend or get stuck in, they'll do it, and they're competent. So I am going 2-2 draw.
That's 2-2 could be a very big reality. Helly's in agreement with you. It's a 2 each. 2-1 West Ham against Brentford. Ivan Toney and Michael Antonio to get the goals for each side. West Ham to win 2-1 against Brentford, and so he has got 2-2 between West Ham and Brentford. I honestly could be a 2 each, but I think West Ham at home there's a good chance they'll keep a clean sheet. And then the final game, which is obviously the game of the week, all eyes are on this game. It is Liverpool taking on Manchester City at Anfield. Obviously, PSG suffering a defeat against PSG 2-0 in France, while Liverpool absolutely destroyed Porto 5-1. City, though, did not actually play that badly against PSG. Took really two really good goals from PSG to kind of get the result, but. That's probably the one thing City are lacking is a clinical side. Yes, they beat Chelsea. Yes, they outplayed Chelsea, but they should have scored more than 1 goal. And it does make you think, Manchester City finish those chances they create. But I like Liverpool a lot. Yes, Liverpool are in really, really good form. Or incredible form. But I think Manchester City at the moment, Manchester are just kind of starting to turn the wheel. They're starting to... They did this exactly last season. They started off really slow and they just went on an amazing run. And the way they played against Chelsea, even the way they played against PSG last night, though they didn't get the result or a goal, they still looked really, really good. I have a shock. I don't know if it's seen as a shock or not, but I do actually have Manchester City going away to the Anfield and winning. I just feel like Pep Guardiola, his record on Anfield hasn't been particularly good, but I have started to kind of see that he is starting to maybe learn from his mistakes. He set up the right way against Chelsea, which he hasn't been doing, which he wasn't doing previously. His game plan against PSG was fine. Just unfortunately, when you have Messi in the other team, it's not particularly easy to stop him. So I actually have Manchester City to win at Anfield 2-1 for me. I think Liverpool defensively don't look particularly convincing. They're short in midfield. And Mane and Jota are kind of struggling on the goal scoring sheet at the moment. And I think Manchester City, if they play like they did last night in the way they did against us on Saturday, it's incredibly difficult. And with Liverpool's definite weaknesses that are on show, I think Man City are going to do it at Anfield.
I like your thinking. I like your mindset in that sense, and I do agree to most extent. What I don't see happening though is an exciting game. I actually don't. I think this is going to be gritty and at times a bit boring, and that's Rich coming towards like Liverpool and Man City in terms of how they play football. But I think it will be gritty and at times boring. I think it will be like watching Burnley in this game. I think both sides are going to have to really get stuck in, and they will, in terms of controlling the possession, controlling the space, the press of Liverpool with the quick plays that they've got versus the dominant possession and winning the ball back style of Guardiola. It's going to be really, really tight. And I think it is going to come down to who wants it more. But I think both teams are just going to cancel each other out. I'm going to go score draw. I'm going to go 1-1. And I'm going to go Jota to score for Liverpool. And I'm going to go for Riyad Mahrez to score from the penalty spot.
Ooh. He's not going to Sky one like that.
No,
like
I think he'll score this time. I'm going to go, yep, so Jota to score for Liverpool and Mahrez from the penalty spot and the game to draw 1-1.
That's very fun. This game could be really, really interesting. I think I'll be definitely setting my Sunday aside to watch that. 2-1 Liverpool. I think Shane, you're a Liverpool fan, so it's probably the Liverpool best in there. Pool 1, City 1, Manchester City to win 1-0 at Anfield, and so he's in agreement with Manchester City. At least I'm not doing he said Manchester City to win that game because if I was going to say Liverpool, but I definitely think that Liverpool team, they haven't actually played anyone contestingly, and when they played Chelsea, they definitely got exposed on the counter-attack a few times. I think Manchester City will be slightly better.
To be fair, they got even though they were lucky to win against Milan, even though they were lucky, in my opinion, to be AC Milan a couple of weeks ago in the Champions League, they were getting exposed all over the place. I think if Man City exposed Trent overrated Alexander-Arnold, they'll cause problems. I think from that side, if you expose Alexander-Arnold and then you move into the middle from the right, you should be fine. I think whoever plays on the left wing, whether it be Sterling or he puts Foden out there or whoever he does, I think it will be very crucial overall, and that's the main thing. Connor, you haven't even put your prediction up for the game yet.
That's what I was going to say. No, it's well, Connor, you haven't put a prediction. At least on my screen, you haven't put a prediction down.
You nugget. You haven't put a prediction down for the game we're talking about. But yeah, I think it's all the sense of you get Alexander-Arnold because people think he's the best right back in the Premier League or the best right back in the world. No, he isn't. He definitely isn't. I think people that think he's the best like right back in football are deluded. And I know Liverpool fans obviously disagree, but it's my opinion. But I think I don't think he is. I think he's well within the top 5, but he's not the best. But he's got to improve on his defensive work. It is getting there, but it's not enough, really. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Connor, your comment, I'm looking at the live chat right now. Your comment is not there. We're talking about Liverpool versus Man City, not Brentford.
Yeah. It's between Zoe and Tom. No, yeah, it's not there. Zoe and she. No, it's not there for me.
It's definitely not there because we're not even talking about Brentford anymore.
Your prediction. I put your prediction up for West Ham Brentford, but you haven't put one in for Liverpool and City. I don't, Connor. You called me sleepyhead, man. You know, I think you need to get some coffee in you, my man. I don't know what time it is like for you, but come on.
You know what the problem is? It's because he backs Norwich and Burnley, and the boredom is getting to him that much that he's being put to sleep.
Well, for fuck's sake! Oh dear, I've said it. The leg is here. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but hello. But anyway, that was that obviously rounds up week 7 of the Josh and Reece predictions video. Obviously, some very interesting comment. Some very, very interested.
Right. No wonder your comment didn't show then because they'll probably just take it as abuse.
Oh dear.
Scum one, oil one.
All right, so just a couple of announcements before I round the show up. So first of all, as again, just to reiterate, said podcast will be here Monday night 7 p.m. The Josh and Reece podcast. Said me, Reece, Nathan, the Cardiff City fan, George Kyle, all coming on. There's a couple of guests, not confirmed. Still need to work a couple of things out. I do have a few guests in the bag, and then the following week, the Monday after next week, is going to be a football quiz, which Reece is currently the title of. Now I've got a couple of new quizzes, a new format in, and all that stuff. So I'm sure everyone can be excited for that. Also, a new thing is that also the big announcement, which is I've been working on this for quite a long time. I did have this plan earlier than normal, but obviously something happened, which Reece knows about with me, which held up the progression. But on the 11th of October, my YouTube channel will officially be taken off. There will be weekly videos. I've got the weekly dose of podcast, obviously, which is going to be an episode out this week. There's the Josh and Reece one. I've got an NFL podcast that's going to be coming out with a guy called Britt. He's in America. He's also an American.
He's sound.
Oh, you know Britt, do you?
Yeah, I know Britt really well.
Oh, he's a United fan, doesn't he? That's right.
Yeah, but I know him from we game together and all that. Like we game YouTube on Rich's channel when he's around. So I know Britt really well.
That's fair enough. Well, Brett's going to be coming on. He's going to be a coach for the NFL podcast. There's going to be match day vlogs of Glenavon games. There is going to be there's also going to be what do you call it, game day previews and watch alongs for Chelsea games. So there's going to be a ton of content coming to this channel from the 11th of October. Because I've got my editing software ready, I've got my thumbnails for all my series ready. It's just going to be easier for me to work on now. So I
Connor, exactly.
Britt is offside.
Honestly, see when you speak to Britt, and I'll be watching. If you do it live, just mention to Britt. Just say what happens when you're offside, mate, and just mention Twitch.
Also, very happy. I don't think too many people know this, but I do have a very big Chelsea interview coming up on my channel. I said I've been working incredibly hard to do this. He's a Chelsea correspondent. He's probably one of them. He's a very well-known Chelsea correspondent within our kind of within the Chelsea community, especially on Twitter. I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce his name when I actually talk about it. If it's Nazir Chancellor, can't say his name properly if I butchered that. Massive apologies. Nice. But he's the representative correspondent for Goal for Chelsea. He's agreed to come on my channel. I have another Chelsea fan coming on with me too to interview him. So I don't know if you know who he is. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter or not, but
I know who he is. I know who he is. He's a very good journalist, to be honest.
I've got him coming on my channel. So I said 11th of October, this channel is absolutely going to blow. I've got a ton of other big guests lined up. That it's also why the uploads on this channel haven't been as regular, because all the behind the scenes work takes a long bloody time, especially when you're a full-time worker. So I hope everyone is excited for that. And of course, if you haven't already, do hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Be ready for all the content coming out in 2 weeks' time, starting during the international break. So I absolutely look forward to bringing that content out. It's going to be an absolute grind, but
and you've got me as well, obviously, with certain content we need to discuss. There's something that we need to discuss as well, which long overdue.
I don't actually remember. I don't actually know what you're talking about. So you're going to have to talk to me on Twitter about that. So I'm not actually too sure what that is. Big up, lads! Great show. And then
just remember, you said anytime I want the keys to your channel to run stuff, you said I've got the option. So yes, I actually have a big announcement as well. Actually, funnily enough.
If you want to make it now, go ahead.
It's a big announcement. Just ignore the camera, guys. It's crap. Yes, Connor, we can discuss this if you want. I am doing a quiz at 7:00. Funnily enough, it's a United group I'm in. I'm doing a quiz at 7. I'll probably win that anyway. We can film tonight about 8:30 if you want. But the big announcement I've got is, as you guys know, I'm on the weekly Armchair Sports Talk, and we are actually. It was a suggestion put forward to me. We're just not sure when we're going to launch it yet, but I am going to be hosting the Weekly Armchair Twitch channel. So we will be going forward gaming through our account, and we will be doing a live career, it'll be like a live career mode, interactive streams on Twitch. I will be hosting it. It will be purely for the channel, and we'll be looking to start that. I will be discussing with the channel owner Keen when we're going to start it up, but it's going to be me doing a full-on interactive career mode. purely for the channel, since you can create your own on the game, and we're going to be doing that, and it's going to be adding towards our own content on YouTube, which you can go ahead and follow us at Weekly Armchair, which is live on YouTube, Weekly Armchair Sports Talk, and you can also get us at _ Sports Talk on Twitter as well. We're all on there. I've also rebranded my Twitter as well, my YouTube as well, mate. So it's now literally called Devils Rising, and it is going to be a full-on gaming channel. But I might do some streams like with a few guys like on StreamYard. So I was thinking like anybody in the live chat, or even yourself, Josh, anytime you want to do, like, doesn't have to be football. It could be anything else you want to discuss, and we can just do as a StreamYard, and we can just do like an hour show or something. But yeah, I've rebranded my channel altogether, and I'm running with it. But the big announcement was obviously the gaming update, and we're hoping to get started very soon.
That's well, there you go, everyone. There's some big there's some big announcements from Reece. from Reece. Like I said, I'm up for that. So there you go.
Absolutely.
You've already got your first, yes. And Connor says, great show as always, legend. Thank you very much, everyone. If you haven't enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Be aware that from 11th of October onwards, things are going to be happening on the channel for all sorts of reasons. And if anyone wants to come onto the channel, any video ideas or anything at all, message me on Twitter. Twitter's in the description below, along with Reese's as well. So everyone, thank you very much for enjoying the stream, being here, and I hope you all have a fantastic week. And we will help him get 200 subs. Big up the Blue Podcast. Yes, that's very much big up the Blue Podcast. And said the next video on this channel will be, I think it is Saturday night, 7 p.m. Your weekly dose of football podcast with me and Amazing will be live. Further details on Twitter will be announced in due course. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. And of course, as I like to say on the end of every prediction stream, come on, Chelsea,
and up the Reds.